Preservation Board, Denison, Texas will come to order. Sorry, it's okay. Present are members Linda Anderson, Kurt Chakowski, and Kirsten Solomon. We have a request to speak card. I'm assuming not. No? Okay. With that, we'll move to items for individual consideration. Minutes.
No, there are no minutes this time.
No minutes this time? Okay.
Guess we'll get two next time.
Get two next time? Okay. Okay.
I'm a fast reader.
All right, so items for individual consideration. A, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on the request to repair roof, replace windows, repaint, and add new awning to 325 West Main Street.
Okay, so can you go down just a little bit? Okay. Yes, I apologize. We don't have a presentation today. We have to work from the case that was presented to you. So on 325 West Main, you might remember that Miss Patty, that is here with us today, came before you and they were going to do some research. And so now I think they've done that research. Some work has been done on the building, and so they were asked to stop and await approval. And so I think that is pretty much all I have to say. And I will turn it over to her, and you can ask her questions.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your materials were
How-
very complete, thank you.
Excuse me, what did you say?
I said your materials were very complete.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank
Well, it helps, and then it's in front of you.
Could you state your name and address?
My name is Patty Graham. I am the owner with my husband, Bob Graham. We are married, so we are owners of the 325 West Main. And so I'm here to discuss our renovations and our plans.
Okay, and your address?
My-
Not
For the
your
record.
personal address.
My
not-
personal address is 351 Lakeview Drive in Denison, Texas.
Thank you.
Are you ready for, okay. All right, so the window that's under discussion. The window was removed so that so the contractor, James Green, could haul out the sheetrock and haul it back in. That window is being replaced and has to be rebuilt. They can't be restored. We have talked to Ernie Staton. He is the person who is restoring the windows to the exact way that they are now, because he has found that they can't be restored. They're falling apart. And as you know, they were able to be open, slide up and down. Well, it's just deteriorated. And so Ernie Staton, I understand, did the windows at home at Katy Depot. So we're trying to stay within the restoration of who really understands what to do with them. So that's why the window is missing. It was used, my husband told James Green, since Ernie Mr. Staton has to rebuild this window, he needs a template. So that window was given to him, so he restores it exactly like it needs to be, which is what is up there now. And so my husband told him to remove the window so we could give it to him, and then the window was removed also for sheetrock to come in and out. So because we have Pop Around the Corner downstairs, and we're trying not to disturb their business. I mean, if we go down the stairs and back and forth, it's gonna disturb their business, and those were the main reasons that window was removed. Any questions about what I said just now? Any questions about the window?
Thank
You're welcome.
Thank you. And the guidance from the depot is perfect.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, that would not be doable to our people who will lease these units, for them to not be able to have a window that doesn't work in case they need to open it. I mean, I can only imagine if my window didn't work and I was leasing this from somebody, that would not make me very happy.
But you could put a window of lesser quality, and you aren't.
Well, we want it to look, we're across the street from that beautiful, where people gather, and so we're trying to restore it just like it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, we're trying to, because we really think that part of town is a great attraction. I mean, people gather, we see this, and we feel very blessed to have bought that place there, because it's part of the town. And I grew up here as a kid when my parents had a lake house, and I would come down here, and I'm just so happy that this town is starting to be vibrant again, because once the highway was built in 1982, it took away all these mom and pop shops, and it just became this dead town. And so we feel very blessed that we can contribute to make this town alive again. So,
As the new guy here, who was not here when you came before the board here last time, if you don't mind, from just reading what is included in our packet, I do have a couple questions here, just real quick. In there, you asked about, was there any other information or guidance you could use? There is a tremendous resource from the Texas Historical Commission that goes back to the Department of the Interior and all the standards, which was how we created this town's historic district. And they have what they call preservation briefs. One of them is on the window, and if you want, I can be glad to send that to you. And I don't know Mr. Stratton here at all. I do know Katie Depot is very, very nice. But if it's so deteriorated you can't use wood, now my question is, do you know what he's replacing it with? Because our consultant here talks down vinyl and talks about aluminum and aluminum clad.
it says rebuilding existing sashes in hardwood.
Okay, excellent.
Match the existing design, and the glass is 1/8 inch thick. Quote, to replace existing sashes with new ones will be $5,000. Attached is the window drawing, which
Okay.
is what I
saw the
have.
drawing.
So
I like
it-
that it's 4x4 with the muntins still in there. If you notice the one next to you, 325, is just 1 and 1. It doesn't have the muntins in it.
It doesn't have the what?
The crossbars in the window, the grids in the
Oh,
window.
no, we are doing the crossbars.
And if you could leave that picture up, that's my second question now.
Okay.
Is when I go back to the National Registry and look at, your building is there, it was the Sir Knight formal wear in 1983.
Wow.
If you notice 325 has got the 4 transom windows, your front was covered with an aluminum covering. Not required, because it's not in your application, and we're not going to impose it on you there, but do you know if there were the 4 transom windows in there from before?
I don't think they were, because we took everything up top back to the studs.
Okay,
And the flooring, we've tried to save the original flooring that's there upstairs, and we have. There were some places that were rotted, so we had to match, but the person who owned this property before us, she had put this tile on top of this beautiful wood, and it was glued down, like downstairs and upstairs. So we had a contractor, we had oh, no, let's just redo that. And no, we don't. So we took the tile out and we hired people to get that sticky glue off the downstairs and the upstairs. So the wood that's in there is the original
the
wood.
original hardwood?
Beautiful.
Yeah. So, no. We are trying to, we've done this kind of project before in our home in Dallas, and I called it This Old House. And I swear I thought Norm was gonna be around the corner when we took this house back to, but this house was built in 1942. And we took it back to the studs, we rebuilt it, and so this is what we're trying to capture the history in this building. We wanna save what we can there. So, just to let you know, we did take it back, so we didn't notice any of those.
Excellent, and I think I understand the rationale from your previous, if you slide back up just a little bit to the storefront elevation.
Okay.
Because those transit windows would be, I'm almost positive, in Pop Around the Corner, not in your loft.
Huh,
So I think that'd be the ceiling part of Pop Around the Corner.
we took that back to the studs as, we
That's just-
we didn't notice any
They were
of,
probably long gone.
Long
Yeah, I was
replacement.
That's what I'm
You could still see
thinking,
the
because we-
footprint, but
Please
had
don't
to-
take it that I want you to do that.
yeah, no. We took it all back to the studs and, you know, there was, anyway, bless the lady's heart that owned that. I mean, she just had a lot of stuff in there. And when she got that out, we were like, oh my gosh, we've got a lot of work to do. And we just kind of took it back. Our contractors just took it all back before Pop Around the Corner got in there. But
Living in a restored house, I resemble that remark.
All of us have
Yeah.
restored
Yes.
historic properties, and we are aware that a surprise is around the, right here,
Yes,
not just
yes.
around the corner.
yes, we discovered that. When we renovated the house in Dallas, that was built in 1942, you know, it had the steel, I mean, it had all of the things that were not to code. And yes, those were surprises that we had to. And so after we did that project, I tell people I don't recommend restoring an old property, but if you want to, I'm just telling you.
well, we appreciate you putting those wood windows.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
as you know, from the time we're talking about when the highway went away, it was rerouted, that in fact, the street was filled with vacant storefronts.
Yes, I know.
And you can also observe how much hard work has gone into getting us where we are now.
Yes.
We are very proud of that, Ms. Dow. So a lot of people have worked really hard, and
Yes.
it's wonderful to see the results of it and to have people who have the commitment to doing it right.
Yes.
So we respect you and honor you for that.
Well, thank you very much.
Again, because I wasn't here, just asking a couple of other questions there. Again, from the consultants thing here. The awning, I guess the awning, since it's going to be the same as 325, obviously 325 was previously approved. Okay. She mentioned, our consultant mentions about that there's going to be repair or replacement of the entrance, but the details weren't provided. Do you have some other information about your entrance going into?
We're just gonna clean up the metal on the windows. We do not want to take the storefront windows. Those will never go away. Those will always stay there. So we're just gonna clean up the
door?
you know, just clean it up. The metal is, it just needs to be scrubbed down, and then we have, I believe y'all have the paint colors, that y'all approved. And so we're just trying to, hopefully when people walk down the street, there'll be a flow about it, because there'll be an awning that will protect you from the weather. If you want to stand there and look at the storefront, you can, because the awning will be there in case it's raining, or, you know, there's weather. But there are the colors there. And I believe y'all had approved those colors before. But it's just basically cleaning up this old house, and that we're not trying to change the building, we're just trying to repair it and restore it so that it will go on for another 100 years. I mean, there was, I'm getting off track, but we took some wallpaper off upstairs. On the back of the wallpaper, it said 1882.
Yep.
I mean, it was, and my husband still has that piece. I don't know what we're going to do with it. We're going to frame it.
Frame it, put it in the.
Yeah, I mean,
Frame it.
but and then what was behind what this property owner that owned it before us, just the stuff that when we got all that away, I mean, it was just, I mean, it was great. So, no, we're trying to keep it, in its
You'll
area.
have lofts upstairs?
Huh?
You will have lofts upstairs?
Just two,
separate
yeah.
So I'd like to touch on the door that's the loft egress that has been replaced, and it goes in.
Okay,
And from my understanding, unless something has changed, loft egresses have to swing out.
okay, well, that's fine. We
So-
can,
We'll
okay.
let- We'll let permitting handle that.
Now, what about the door in the back? I think it swings out, the glass door.
I'm sure permitting will be able to go help you with that.
So, he said that y'all have done nothing to the back yet.
No, but we do have plans
But-
to do. That balcony up there is, we have to repair it. It's dangerous. And so I think it's in our, we're gonna restore, we've already restored the roof. We had to restore that. But the roof up there, it's dangerous, and that is the back rental property, condo, whatever you want to call it. And we feel like we need to repair it and refurbish it, otherwise it's dangerous. And so there's no railing, there's nothing. We feel like that will be a good renting point for the person that rents there, can step out on their, but
And
there,
you'll-
it needs to be repaired. It's
So have you thought about railing yet? Because I know it's not in this application.
We have not thought about railing. We have, we've talked to the contractor about what to do with this, because it's not a roof. I mean, it's plastic, and a lot of these places have permanent roofs, which is awesome. But we're trying to figure out how to make it safe, because what was up there that lady had. She had put a makeshift, which we've removed, flooring up there on top of this.
Like a decking or?
Yeah. And then she had a pergola that was up there. So we've removed all of that. That was not safe.
So I'm looking at Donna here now, is there a requirement for the alleyway side to come back before the historic?
Anything you do on that side is still going to have to be approved. If you put a
Yes,
railing, or if you
yes,
change
yeah.
this door or that window,
Yeah, we
Or-
understand, yeah.
or anything, so it needs to be approved before you do it.
Yeah, we understand that. We haven't gotten that far.
Okay.
We kind of are, it's just a loving project. We'll just
Okay,
put it that
okay.
way.
And you may remember approving the paint, and maybe in theory you did, but I don't recall us, like a motion. I thought we tabled it, so if you don't mind, just to be safe, could you?
We'll include it.
I do remember that after it was painted and they came back with the
Right.
paint colors, I know that the last time that you came, it was on the agenda to have the paint, and we were thinking, well, you're gonna paint it again, you just painted it, but I think it was even a different color maybe that had been proposed.
I thought this was the same.
Is it the same?
No, this is the same. This is the same.
Okay.
Because
So-
we did that way. No, this is the same paint colors. Because we got the paint colors from, I believe, you and the historical, there's certain paint colors
Right.
that you have to use. And so we followed those guidelines for these paint colors.
Okay,
So-
so we need to make a motion to do that when we make the
I think the way it's stated there is pretty good.
I did get some guidance also from our consultant. Of course, they had already made the window guidance, which I feel like they followed. They wanted to make sure that the gutters and downspouts will be on the back of the building instead of the front.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
didn't see anything that led them to believe differently, but they wanted to make sure.
I thought,
Well, and
to
that's-
make it better or clear, the motion I was thinking of making would be just talking about the front exterior and leave everything to the back exterior for the next time.
Right.
they come.
Okay. Yeah, because we don't have those plans yet for the porch up there, and we are going to clean up the back. As you know, there's aluminum landing and steps, so
Mhm.
we want to figure out something attractable. I mean, because that is the parking lot back there that people go around to the steakhouse. So we don't like what's that's back there. It's pretty,
Right now, it's pretty rough, yeah.
but
The only
it
thing-
is what it is, and they're able to get in there. But we want to redo that somehow. So
Two things that I'm sorry, go ahead.
The door and the window on the back were there before. The previous owner had the door there to go out,
yes,
and the window is there as well.
yes,
Okay.
yeah,
The
yeah.
two things I was,
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The two things I was going to add is, those two gentlemen back there, their offices and the permitting and the code compliance can give you all the information you have to make it safe and code compliant.
Okay.
The second thing I was going to say is, as we learned from our historic training last week, people like to put fleur-de-lis or grapevines or all that other kind of stuff on railings, but historic for this time period is just a plain rail.
Oh, no, we just want plain.
Okay.
You don't understand, my husband doesn't like, he doesn't like
Foo-foo.
foo-foo. There you go. And we've been married 45 years, and I've just grown to love foo-foo. Not foo-foo, but just
Plain.
and nothing cluttered.
Okay.
We
I have no
don't,
more questions.
More discussion?
Then I'd like to make a motion to approve the repainting, the replacement of the windows using the original configuration, and the addition of the awning on 325 West Main on the front of the building.
Have a motion by Kurt Chakowski. Second by Linda Anderson.
To approve the repainting, do you want me to add with the designated paints? So, let me amend that, and I'm sorry, Linda, you're gonna have to do it again. I make a motion to approve the repainting with the designated paints, replacement of the windows using the original configuration, and the addition of an awning on 325 West Main for the front of the building.
And second?
I second the motion.
Okay. We have a motion by Kurt Chakowski and second by Linda Anderson. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
Good luck to you.
thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be seeing you back again.
Thank you for your
Get a little
commitment to
further.
doing it well.
Oh, we're trying.
And also thank your husband.
No, we're out.
I will.
We're not adjourned.
He could be here, he's in Dallas working, and so.
Well, you represent both of you very well.
Oh, thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All of
Thank
you
you.
have a fabulous day.
You too. Stay cool.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We will have that. We will have the certificate of appropriateness, and James Green can contact us.
Okay. And when can they start, like, loading sheet rock in and out of that one? I mean, I don't know what they're doing. So is the job able to go forward now, or do we have to wait for your?
You have to wait for that certificate of
Got it.
approval.
Okay,
And
that's
then
fine.
you can
That's fine.
contact the building department.
Okay.
Robert, do they need to contact you to get released?
I just need a COA and I can release it. As long as they get already shut down with them there.
So just at the top of the stairs? Yeah.
Okay, okay. Y'all all have Bob's email
So they will need that before they can proceed.
Got it, that was my question. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
All of the information's already in there, so you can just upload that,
Okay,
and then we'll be able to approve everything.
okay. And that is on, I'm sure he knows, which website?
MyGov,
MyGov, got it, okay.
that's where he does all his communication and permit application.
All right, I'll tell him.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Staff updates.
So, have any of you seen the side of the Chase Bank building?
Yes.
It's only when I was driving up here, and Donna had seen it.
So Mr. Lay has been in contact with them, as have I, and I think I might have the application already. The intent was to have them paint a small patch. I did not get into, but you can't paint unpainted buildings. So that's another step and some study that we will need to do. So anyway, that's coming.
This
I
is to
sent
let
you
us
an
know this is
email.
coming here, but
Can
it's
you,
well down the way.
Donna, I missed the address. What address is it?
231 West Main. It's not one of those, just, yeah, there you go. That one, thank you. Okay. So I believe that we will be having that. He indicated he would. They've been told to stop work, and I have been in communication to get them on the right track. So that should be coming hopefully next time. And then on 410, I have an application in front of me to approve the vinyl signage on the windows. And I thought I would show that to you to get any comments that you might have. But they had the usual move in there.
Is that a separate, the usual, is that a separate business inside the 410?
I don't know. Do you know if they got a CO? Anybody?
Separate business? Okay.
Yeah, I think
Just a
it.
different logo than what 410 collected, so that's why, yeah.
Yeah, they've been in the rail
Like
yard.
Shopping, and I think the usual is the coffee bar.
Okay.
So, and I haven't made it in since they've made the change. They just opened this weekend. So that's all in. Okay, that's all I have.
If I could, then, just two things. Both are associated with the trip that Ms. Anderson, Ms. Dow, and I took to Grapevine. Besides some really good information in those preservation briefs that I found are really, really good. And it'd be something that I would recommend we link on our page, I think, would be good. But we did a walk through their historic district. And in there, they had city historic markers. And I think I need to ask to have this on the agenda so it can be given 72 hours so we can have public comment. So I would ask then if next time we could sit there and talk about the idea of having Denison historic markers on the outside of these buildings, talk about the history of the building. Now, before we would do, we're not going to mandate it on the owners, builders, or operators of the businesses in there, but perhaps offer it to them. And Mr. Hander, Brian Hander, who obviously has done a lot of research already, this is something he tried to do but got busy and stopped. I have no problem providing the background information for Madison or whomever to put in as a point paper for discussion for next time about whether this would be a project we'd want to pursue, and if we did, how we might want to do it.
We can put that on a future agenda.
Thank you.
And we did have good training in Grapevine. It was certified local government training, and it was just good to refresh some information on that, and it's good to look at another district as
I've
well.
never been to a training that you suggested where I did not learn something that was really critical. And as you mentioned, as we were leaving, every time we go to one of those, we make contacts that we know face to face.
Yeah.
And that is very valuable. So I'm really glad I went.
I agree. I think some things that we need to look up, like Fort Worth has been successful in their fines. So when somebody does some unauthorized work, the fining, and I want to find out how they do it, because they fine $2,000 a day, not just 500.
Yeah, just so you know, Fort Worth has 15 historic districts throughout the city. Their historic board, their equivalent, has got their own compliance officer as a member of the board. I don't think we're want to go there, but how this might be, and it was $2,000 a day with no ceiling, and I'm like, whoa.
And they also have the ability within their fines and liens to say that until these corrections are made, they put a freeze on anything happening there. And it has some teeth in it, even if you don't apply fines, if you say, and it like Kurt said though, we're not at a position yet, but we have the facility to begin to think more strategically about what we're gonna do, because it just keeps on happening.
And this week, I am hosting Texas Main Street training, and so won't have a lot of time to spend on the design guidelines and the ordinance. But it's been reviewed. I just would like to review it myself before I send it on to the attorneys to get it on the agenda. Mr. Chakowski reviewed the group's changes, and so I feel comfortable that they have all been made as the group discussed, but I just have all my notes that I would like to ensure that it got on there. So with that, I would be glad to send it to you guys too. Did we send it already?
No,
Okay,
I
not
didn't-
when you
I didn't wanna
reviewed
do
it.
Until you looked at it,
Yeah.
because I'm sure you'll change some.
Yeah, and I'm happy to send it to you now, but
Go
I
ahead
feel
and
like
find
I need to look at it, because if they did change, it's like, well, what was it? And that's where my mind is, like, what changes did we make or did we not make?
And we want to have a solid version
Right,
control here.
right, so you can then edit as needed.
Okay,
Okay, that's all I
and that,
Can I ask a question real quick, back on the item that we just approved? Did we approve, I mean, I understand that it has to go through, code as far as the opening of the door, but it's a different door. Did we approve that door, that particular design door, because it's totally different than the one that was there before?
No, we didn't address the door.
Okay.
So we would need to let them know that they need to get the door approved. First of all, they're going to have to change it. But we didn't approve changing the door.
Okay.
I'll note that on the, there was so much, it
Yeah.
got lost, and so I want to note that on the,
interesting, only just from looking at the 1983 pictures, a part of the National Registry submission, I glanced at the door, and it was remarkably plain, the same thing with the big, huge border like it has on there now. So I don't know what was on there subsequent to that.
It was just, I think it was just a plain door. I mean, just,
yeah, it's in that picture. Do you still have that pulled up, or is it too hard to
Oh, good
look
job.
at you? Yes. It's
yeah, it's just
a plain,
door.
solid door. Well, it's got a transom above it.
Oh, we want to keep the transom.
Let me see.
Yeah.
With the woodworking for the border.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that looks.
I know sometimes
It's
the
like a regular
grandfather
door.
goes in, if they already go in, they allow them to go in as grandfather, but with the loft in mind and being replaced at this point, I don't know that that would be code any longer.
Right, he did say that it would have to
Have to
swing
change.
the other way.
Yeah.
They did leave the transoms, but they changed the door, and it kind of sticks out.
Yeah, because of the color and,
Yeah.
and they put a glass in it. It's a,
Right.
I just looked at it.
Thank you.
All right.
oh,
Madam Chairperson?
Madam Chairperson.
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Okay. Meeting adjourned at 10:37.